They met in Bangkok and voted on the new draft constitution. The results will send them back to the drawing board. An Indian festival draws attention to the issue of sexual violence, plus Taiwan is hit with a dengue outbreak. These stories are coming up next. This is the Asia Brief. Good morning, everyone. Steve Miller here on this magnificent Monday, September 7th, 2015. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's begin with our first story from Bangkok, Thailand. By now you know the story. After nearly a year of political clashes in Bangkok, Thailand, General Prayut Chan-o-cha staged a bloodless coup to restore order. He said he wanted to return the country to a form of democratic rule and implement a number of reforms, the first of which required a new constitution. Well, after this weekend's vote, it looks like the junta leader will be in control longer, as the 247-member National Reform Council rejected the draft charter by a vote of 135 for to 105 against, with 7 abstentions. Now a new committee must be formed to write another draft, thus prolonging the process. The failure to ratify the charter isn't necessarily a bad thing, as one of the more controversial portions of the draft legislation would allow a group of some 20 individuals to assume control of the government during an undefined national crisis. Some speculate the reason the charter failed was due to some of the controversial measures it contained. Remember, we got into this mess because of political discord, and they feel passage of this document would set Thailand back down that same path. The truth is, despite the authoritative hand Prayut rules the country with, the ideological divide persists, and with the king's ailing health, things aren't looking up. A new drafting committee will now be formed and charged with submitting a new draft within 180 days. It's unclear if this new charter will be any more democratic, and the idea of public elections taking place sometime in 2016 may have just evaporated. This past week, Hindus celebrated the birth of Lord Krishna, who is said to have descended on the earth some 5,000 years ago in the holy city of Mathura in northern India. Krishna, also known as the destructor of demons, is celebrated during the Janmashtami festival every year. It recounts how he saved mythological Queen Draupadi from being disrobed by her brothers-in-law. Unfortunately, India has been plagued by an increase in violence against women, and a number of assaults have garnered worldwide attention. Krishna followers say India could take this opportunity and heed his lesson. One priest said, quote, "On the occasion of Janmashtami, we must all seek Lord Krishna's blessings and take a resolution on the way he protected people at that time. We must all protect women and people. Everyone must try to be like Krishna." End quote. Those are good intentions, and there really isn't an excuse to exercise violence for its sake. But one major criticism is that India's courts don't necessarily do a good job of protecting women. If you really want to bring change in the society, you must make the victim participate. You must make the victim speak about it. And the second important thing is that the victim should not be defamed at all. In the past few years, there have been a number of cases where the identity of the victim has been revealed. If we do so, we are not doing justice, said Vartika Nada, an academic specializing in women's issues, in a media interview. India isn't alone in victim shaming and blaming, and it's high time that practice ends. If you're going to Taiwan, either for business or for pleasure, be sure to take some insect repellent. Taiwan's Center for Disease Control announced over the weekend that 5,186 new cases of dengue fever have been reported since the beginning of summer, with roughly 88% of the cases being reported in Tainan. Last year, Taiwan saw just shy of 12,000 cases by the start of November. This year, one-day increases in dengue reporting have been at a very high rate, with the Friday to Saturday numbers falling above 450 last week, meaning that if that pace continues, there could be well over 20,000 cases by the same time this year. Dengue fever, also known as breakbone fever, is a mosquito-borne tropical disease caused by the dengue virus. Symptoms include fever, headache, muscle and joint pains, and a characteristic skin rash that's similar to measles. In a small portion of the cases, the disease develops into the life-threatening dengue hemorrhagic fever, resulting in bleeding, low levels of blood platelets and blood plasma leakage, or into dengue shock syndrome, where dangerously low blood pressure occurs. The virus has 5 different types. An infection with one type usually gives lifelong immunity to that specific type, but only short-term immunity to the others. Subsequent infection with a different type increases the risk of severe complications. As there is no commercially available vaccine, prevention is sought by reducing the habitat and the numbers of mosquitoes and limiting exposure to bites. Well, my friends, those are today's stories. Please take a moment and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. The Asia Brief is a special feature of the Asia News Weekly podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with your friends, and if you haven't, subscribe. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. You can subscribe on our website, asianewsweekly.net, or in your favorite podcast application. You can also keep up with more news from the region by following Asia News Weekly on Facebook or Twitter. And if you have any comments, questions, or feedback, be sure to drop us a line. That email address is podcast@asianewsweekly.net. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, remember to be true to yourself and to always be awesome.